What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to talk about push-pulls. Everybody's been wanting me to talk about push-pulls, and everybody's been wanting me to put them on the channel. For those of you that are not familiar, or on the website, for those of you that are not familiar, we make pickups here. And one of our most popular models is our center punch pickup. Basically, the design ethos behind it is that it's got a really strong mid-range. That's why it's called the center punch, but also it has been designed to not volume drop when you coil split it. And we've been selling these successfully for like 11 years. They work really well, but we've never, you have to coil split them, you have to be able to switch, right? And I've never put it on the website. I've never like, oh, here's a switch to go with it. So that's what we're gonna do. In fact, we're gonna run a little special with it as we talk about it here in a minute. But we also want to talk about push-pulls, kind of why I put it off, because there's some design things. And also, this one that I've got here, I want to show you how it works. It's really, really nice. And it'll also give you an idea how to wire one of these things. All right, so let's start off with the pickup itself. This is one of our center punch pickups here at Dylan Talks Tone. This is actually one of our custom engraved covers that just came out last week. Pretty cool looking pickup. We got them on, I think I've got some, yeah, we're doing the metal P90 covers that way too. Pretty neat. Anyway, this is a center punch and it's designed to coil split. Now, let's first of all talk about real quick wire types. So this is the wire that's from a normal, like a vintage style pickup, right? And it's got the braid for the ground on the outside, and it's got the signal wire on the inside. And you cannot coil split these, right? Because this is all you have outside of the pickup. So you just have your signal wire and your ground braid. That's it. Because internally, everything is soldered all up. In order to coil split, you would have to have a 4-wire pickup. So we use this more modern wire, which is got 4 conductors on it. Because when we think about the inside of a humbucker, we've really got 2 coils, right? And so there's a start to the coil and there's a finish to the coil, like where you started winding and where you finished winding. See, the start is taped right here and then the finish is loose right there. And then we've got that ×2 inside this pickup, right? So you've got 4 wires coming out, a start and a finish and a start and a finish on both coils. So that is where we come up with these 4 wires. Now you notice on this pickup, I've got 2 of them twisted together, and then the braid is the ground for the chassis, and then the other 2 are loose. So this is how we are going to wire this up for a humbucker. So let's talk about why we do that first. All right, so let's look at our humbucker pickup. So we've got a coil here. We'll call this the screw side, okay? 3 strings. We've got the slug side over here, right? And then we've got 4 strings on that side and 3 on that side. How about that? We've got a start wire on this side. We've got a start wire on this side. We've got a finish wire on this side and a finish wire on this side. So there's 4 wires. The way you wire up a humbucker, because the magnet sits underneath here, okay? And on my pickups, the south pole of the magnet is on this edge, and the north pole of the magnet is on this edge. So the coils are wound the same direction, but when you hook them up to the guitar, what you're doing is you're actually hooking up the finish wires together, and then that's your center link, okay? So we call this our center link, and that is how the signal gets from one coil to the other, okay? And then one of the starts, and on my pickup it's going to be this guy right here, he's going to go off to the volume pot or the switch or whatever. The start of this is going to go to ground. So what we have here then is the signal comes in this way, comes out, goes in the finish, and comes out the other start. And by doing so, the signal goes one direction in one coil, and then it goes the opposite direction in the other coil, and that is how you get your hum canceling. So What we're going to do is we don't normally, when in a normal humbucker, we don't normally use this center link for anything. Normally, it's taped off and stuck off to the side. So like this one right here, it's soldered together, and then we just kind of put it off to the side. This would go to our pot, and this would go to our ground. And we would really only use these two wires. So what you're seeing in an old-fashioned humbucker is the same thing. Your ground and your red wire, basically. These two wires are taped up inside the pickup. But now that we have these available, we can do something very cool with them. We can run them off to a switch that goes to ground. When it's grounded, what it does is it basically only allows signal from one of the coils. So that's what shuts one of the coils off and leaves the other one on. In our pickups, the way we've got it sorted out, it shuts off the screw side and leaves on the slug side. So then you will only have the slug side on and the screw side will be shut off. That's how you coil split. So let's move over to the switch and I'll show you how we do that. When we look at the back of a push-pull pot, we've got our pot down here. So you see where we've got our three, this is like a normal volume pot, right? Or a normal tone potentiometer, right? So you've got your three, okay? So pretend that this wasn't even here. It would just be like a normal pot, right? Now, this top part is a switch. And you've got 6 things here, but it's not as confusing as it looks. One thing we should know is that these 3 on this side do exactly the same thing as the other side, and you can split them out to do different things. So let's get something straight. This left side, okay, we'll just call it left and right. The left and right sides are not connected at all whatsoever. None at all. It's like there's a line down the middle and they're not connected at all. What is connected is this and this and this and this. Okay? So what that means is when the switch is up, these 2 are connected together. When the switch is down, these 2 are connected together. So this is your common, and this would be your up position, and this would be your down position. So knowing that they're exactly the same on the other side, we'll draw on this side so that we can not make it confusing. On this side, we would basically have our signal from our pickup. This was where our green and black wires would come in. This is where our center link from our previous drawing, okay? So we've got this center link that we don't normally use, okay? Now our center link would come into the middle common right here. And then our up position would go to ground, right? Because then when we pull the knob up, then all of a sudden this center link is getting grounded, shutting off one coil. When we push down on the knob, then it pushes down this way and nothing happens here. There's no connections here. So therefore we go back to a regular humbucker. It's pretty cool. Now let's move this over to the actual switch, knowing that we have this drawing. Here's the other thing though we have to do, is we also have to remember that this is upside down. So when you're wiring your guitar, it's actually kind of like this. So nothing changes as far as the middle. So the middle is the common. Here, I don't want to scratch the nib on my pen when I use it for a pointer. So we'll use a pocket knife. Okay, so the center is right here. That is where you're going to put your green and your black wire. Your ground, and what I typically do is I take a little wire and I put it here, and then I just run it over here and I solder it to the back of this pot. And then I just ground. I do it on the volume pot because the volume pot is typically grounded. So then that way this can come over here and boom. And you could do it on both sides. You could put the neck one here and ground this one here. And then you could put the bridge one on this side and then ground this one over here. And then that would make it to where when you pulled up on this knob, both pickups would coil split at the same time. Or you could put two of these in your guitar and have one center link here and one ground here on this pot for maybe the neck pickup, and then on the other pot you could have the one for the bridge pickup and do it separately, either way. If for some reason you wanted to use a double pull, double throw switch without a pot, like put a little micro switch in your guitar, this part would actually still be the same. This wiring would still be the same from here up, even if it wasn't hooked to a pot and it was just one of those little micro switches. This is an alpha. These are very good pots, but they are not my favorite. I'm going to show you the design of pot that we decided to go with and carry on the website. And I think you're going to like them. They are laid out a little bit differently, and that's why I kind of want to make this video, not only talk about all of how all this works, but I also wanted to show you this layout of push-pull pot. So this is a CTS pot, and these are very, very nice. This is a 500K CTS pot, but here's the neat thing. They're shallower, okay? So if you line these up, they are only, hang on, let me line it up. See, they're shorter. So to put this in like an SG or something, it would work. But here's the difference. You notice down here, right down here, you'll see those same 6 tabs. But that's not where you solder. You solder in these through holes right here, which makes it really nice because it actually makes it super easy to solder onto, because you can actually just stick it in there and put a bloop, little bit of solder right there and you're done. Now, you'll see that there's lines down here that show you what is what, okay? So C1, if we go back to our diagram over here, C is the middle, which is the common. So that's where you want your center link to go. So you would put it in C1 here. And if you notice, the little trace comes down to this middle one. So it represents that middle one. For the up position, you would probably go, let's see, go up like that. Yeah. So up like that would be C, would be 1, would be pull 1, which would be this one, like we just talked about over here. And you'll see that there's a 1 right there, and that's where you would solder the other one. And then you would just ground to the back of the pot, maybe like use one of these tabs to do that, and it would be done. And then you've got C1 and 2 on this side, so that would be this side of the switch. And you've got C2 and 3 and 4 on this side of the switch. So just know that if you can hold this in the light, let me see if I can do it. Yeah, see if you can hold it in the light. See how there's lines? So you just follow the lines. If this is the middle, here's the middle. It goes to C1. If you go here, we need this top one because we need to do a coil split. This line goes to here, to 1. 1 here, 1 here, and you can see the trace that does it. These are really, really nice pots. The tapers are really nice. The construction is really nice. They will last a long time. The push-pull action is actually very nice. And like I said, they're a little shallower, so you can use them in more applications. They will come with the nuts and washers on them already, and they will be available on the Dylan Talks Tone website. These are really super cool pots. So we've got them in stock now, and here's what we're gonna do. For the rest of October, if you order a set of center punches, two center punches, we will include one of these free so that you can give it a shot. Otherwise, I think they're like $9.95, something like that. But we'll give you one of these for free. That way you can go ahead and put this in your guitar, wire it up. And if you don't have a coil splitting guitar already, this would be an easy way to do it. Hey, I'm editing this video and I decided that was a dumb idea. Here's what we're gonna do. Instead of you have to make a pair, let's just say anybody who orders a center punch pickup, that'll make it easier. It'll make it easier for me to keep track of. It'll make it easier for you to keep track of. You still have to use free pot in the discount code. That way I know you watched this video to the end. Also, it will also then open it up to where you can get any of the custom stuff. So any center punch on the website is going to be to give you a free pot. So limit 1 per customer, but there you go, free pot. End of October. Boom. So there you go. Thanks for hanging out. Make sure you check it out, DylanTalksTone.com. Basically, you're going to put free pot. I think that's a pretty fun discount code. So you're going to put free pot in the discount code. And when you order 2 of these things, and you'll get a free pot. How about that? Thanks for hanging out, and we will see you in the next video.